Hi, I'm Poppy.
Hi, I'm Gemma.
And today we're talking about pansexuality.
Am I? I don't know yet.
What exactly is pansexuality?
Basically, pansexuality is you can be attracted to men, women, trans people, non-binary people, people who are genderqueer, people who are gender fluid. You have this amazing ability to see someone for who they are as a person and be attracted to that person, and to have that person's gender not be a cause for not being attracted to them, basically.
Before, say, it came out, we often thought of gender as a binary, so you're a man or you're a woman, but that has changed a lot.
Gender is more of a spectrum, and there are people who are male, female, there are people who are in between, there are people who are non-binary people, or non-binary people may want to identify as outside of the gender spectrum completely. There's gender fluid people, so people who go in between or out of that spectrum. Basically, there's so many different ways that you can be.
How different is it really from bisexuality, a term that we've had for a lot longer?
Bisexuality and pansexuality are both in reference to being attracted to more than one gender. Bisexuality as a label has been around for a lot longer than pansexuality. So it first started being used at like the turn of the 20th century, when our idea of gender was still in a very binary stage of like men and women, whereas pansexuality kind of started being used more in the 1990s, when like our understanding of gender was starting to become more diverse and more inclusive, and therefore bisexuality does have that historical aspect of being attracted to two genders. However, for a large majority of people who do identify as bisexual, it is now inclusionary of people who are, you know, trans, who are gender non-conforming, who are genderqueer. Honestly, the difference between them is however and whatever label you feel more comfortable with. Like, labels are really empowering in that they allow you and they show you that there is more than one person out there who is like you. However, if you don't feel comfortable with a label, try a different label, use multiple labels, change whatever labels you want, make a new label, self-define a label. There's so many things out there that you can do, and if you don't want to use labels at all, then that's absolutely fine.
So how did you first kind of come across the term pansexual?
Honestly, through the internet. Bisexual was a label that I heard at least a few years before the label pansexual, and because of that, bisexual is a label that I associate with quite strongly as well, because it's the first thing that I heard at a time where I was questioning my sexuality, and it was the thing that most closely aligned with what I was feeling. Someone may choose to use the label bisexual because, for example, when like speaking to parents or speaking to grandparents about it, because it is more well known and because it has been around for longer, I think it's easier for them to understand and grasp, whereas in communities which are more queer friendly, or where there is a baseline of understanding that gender is more complicated than just men and women, pansexuality is really good to use.
But you can kind of interchange, and depending on how you're feeling as well.
Absolutely, absolutely. I mean, labels are there for you ultimately. They're there to help you put a name to how you're feeling.
What would your advice be for what you can ask that person, what you probably shouldn't say to that person, and how to have that conversation?
Be there, be a supportive friend, and just listen to how they feel, what they feel. And also going away and doing your own research as well can be really, really helpful. Childline has a load of resources.
What would you say would be the best advice for someone who has had kind of any bullying or kind of any issues with people because of their sexuality?
No one can tell you what you are, what you aren't, and what that means. The only person who can do that is you. And ultimately, at the end of the day, all anyone can ever aspire to do is to be 100% authentically themselves, and sexuality is a part of that. So know that if you are being bullied, you are doing the right thing, trying to be yourself. And if you're still struggling, go talk to people. So like a teacher, a parent, an adult you trust, your friends. Childline are great to talk to. Go to your local LGBT centre or society. There's so many resources for you out there that you can find that will help you feel more comfortable being you.
There are a lot of people out there who may not understand your sexual identity and may not want to, and you could potentially be bullied for that. And that could lead to you maybe not feeling safe in a particular situation. What's the best thing to do?
If you feel that you're in danger, if you feel that you are unsafe, talking to an adult, someone that you trust, someone that you respect, or Childline. Sometimes you can't handle everything yourself, so going out and reaching out for those people and asking for help is really important as well.
You shouldn't have to feel that you need to stand your ground in every situation. Sometimes the better thing to do is to get yourself out of that situation,
Exactly.
make sure you're safe, make sure you're comfortable, and then make sure you're talking to the right people as well
Exactly,
and getting
exactly.
the support you need.
Yeah.
I know there's a couple of like celebrities that have come out as pansexual. It must be a great feeling to like be able to see that and have someone there that you identify with.
It's a conversation starter. Or when did Euros just come out as pansexual? What does that mean? It gets people to research it. Just one person coming out, no matter how famous, can do that. So
You said that pansexual was something you actually came to at a later stage, and bisexual was the first label that you identified with. How was that for you?
coming out for anyone is difficult. Coming out as bisexual or pansexual is confusing as well. One of the worst parts of coming out is that you feel alone and you feel like you're the only person in the world who's feeling the way you're feeling, and everyone else is completely fine and completely normal, but you're not. Whereas that's just not the case. Seeking out people like you, seeking out people who are your friends and family who are going to support you for you is absolutely the most important thing to do in that situation. You're not alone. You're not alone.
Thanks so much for coming in today,
Thank you so much for having me.
and we'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.